So this is not the video I was planning on doing today. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And speaking of zombies, that was one of the things that I was going to talk about today for this video, because I was going to, kind of promote my Kickstarter that's coming up for my comic book, Young and the Dead, which is sort of a kids versus zombie story. Finished the 4th issue, and so I'm planning to launch that plus all the previous issues kind of in a big package next month. So I was going to do a sketch that I'm going to do for a reward for the Kickstarter and kind of talk about that, but things changed a little bit as things happen, so I got a bit of, something that sort of rocked my world a little bit. I won't get into it too much, but let me just say that as I'm recording this, it is Valentine's Day, and I don't really feel like celebrating. But anyway, so again, I don't want to get too much into that, but I want to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on in my life right now, as far as work and some personal stuff. Just because I think everyone goes through certain things, especially if you're trying to do art or make a living as an artist or just whatever. There's always kind of things that come into play or kind of throw you off track or kind of send you in sort of a tailspin. And I just want to talk about how to hopefully kind of get out of that mindset and push forward and get back to doing the things that you want to do. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And so I'm still going to do a zombie sketch. I'm going to kind of show you the process of this particular sketch that will be for the Kickstarter coming up. But again, the topic's a little different, so let's get into that. So the topic I was going to talk about has changed a bit, but the visuals are going to be the same. So on the screen what you're going to see is me doing a sketch for my reward for my upcoming Kickstarter for Young and the Dead, which I was planning on launching next month in March, and I was planning to launch it early in March. I've just been saying March just because you never know what happens, and things did happen. So so it may get pushed a week or two into March. I'm not sure yet, but I still wanted to kind of talk about it because my whole plan was this month I was going to just kind of start putting out some sketches and start talking about the Kickstarter, just build some awareness for it and everything. And then things got kind of shifted around a little bit. So, I'm going through a little bit of hard times right now. Some, not so great stuff in my personal life, but and it's not all bad. I don't want to say that there's like a silver line, as I haven't seen a silver lining yet, but there's some little bit of good things too, positive things that are happening. So I'm going to try to kind of concentrate on those things instead of the negative, and that's really what I want to talk about today, because that's a big part of it. Because when you're going through stuff and things that are a little bit unexpected, when this whole thing dropped on me, my immediate go-to was kind of like, I just need a stiff drink and some comfort food or something. And luckily, I moved away from that first, my first reaction. And basically, instead of that, what I did was I went running or jogging, actually walking. I usually try to jog, about in the mornings about 3 times a week. That was my schedule. But I just needed to walk, so I just went walking put on my headphones on and just walk for like I think 5 miles that day, just to kind of get out of my headspace. And I think that was therapeutic. So, and then after that, what I try to do was I just try to just make some positive changes in my life. So the first thing was like diet, and I don't eat like a lot of junk food, but I like to eat. I like to eat. I try to eat somewhat healthy, but but I eat a lot. So I went kind of on this diet that I've been on before, and it was helpful. But for me, I have to be committed. And when I don't know, for me, when I find myself in a situation like this, it's like, I know this is going to help, so I really have to commit. So it's a little more of an incentive. So that plus, working out, I took what was like kind of jogging a couple miles in the morning, maybe 3 times a week, to pretty much every day. Sometimes I'll take a break. I might take a break like 1 day a week, because that's sort of recommended in my diet. But so jog, a couple miles, but then I do that in the morning, and then and again, this is my situation. I know certain people this won't work for you, but hopefully you'll find something, whether it's something you can do indoors, because I know a lot of people, it's cold where a lot of you people live, so jogging might not be an option for you. But there's ways to exercise indoors, or whatever you can do. But that's been really helpful. So doing that, and so then in addition to the jogging in the morning, I go walking for like 4 or 5 miles. Again, just to kind of more to the exercise, because I could just be sitting here dwelling on things, and sometimes you need to think about things and get and deal with that. But rather than just me sitting at home having these thoughts, why not just get out and do some exercise while I'm having these thoughts? So I try to concentrate all that stuff into that time, and if I can, and it's not always easy, but if I can, when I get back, I try to do other more constructive things. Well, that's constructive too, hopefully, the way I'm doing it. But when I get back, just concentrate on work and family and other things like that. So in addition to the jogging, the exercise, and the diet, one thing I try to do is kind of pretty much cut out alcohol. And this is different for everyone. If that is a real issue with you, then it's that's something that's a whole different ball of wax. But for me, I don't think I have a problem, but I do, I was to the point where I would, just like when I was doing the art casters, I pour myself a drink and do that. And I don't want to say I've totally cut out drinking, but I've, like I went out with a friend and I had a couple drinks because that's something I need. But when I'm at home or whatever, I just kind of stopped drinking. I try to stop having caffeine, which that's a tough one. And I stopped drinking coffee a while ago because I don't like black coffee, and just straight coffee is it's too much for me. And unfortunately, if you don't like straight coffee, then you've got to put a bunch of cream and sugar, and that's problematic too. So, but what I was doing was I was drinking like crazy amounts of like Coke Zero. So like I had 2-liter bottle I would go through in like a couple days, and I'd go and do another one. So I stopped drinking that, and the lack of the caffeine, sometimes that can kind of, obviously you get worn down because you don't have that stimulus. So, but the exercise helps a lot with that, which I'm finding. And if I get tired, what I'll do is I'll just take a 20 to 30 minute nap, and then, get up. No, I wouldn't advise taking much longer than that. But that's usually enough to, at least for me, to kind of get me back, so I'm awake and get back to work and things like that. The other thing that I'm trying to do is just spend more time with like friends and family. I mentioned I went out with a friend and had some drinks and things and hung out, and that was helpful. And then family, like I have a son that's older. He's kind of pretty much moved out and everything. So basically I called him up and we went out to a concert together. And then my younger son and my daughter, I'm planning on going to the Renaissance Festival, hopefully, which that should be fun. So stuff like that. That's gonna help. So reach out to friends and family, obviously, and not only that, but and then sometimes, like for me, I need me time. I'm sort of an introvert, so I also need that me time. And one of the things that I'm doing, and this may be odd for a lot of people, but something I've been really wanting to do for a long time was go to Disneyland. And it gets expensive, especially when you have kids. But the thing is, like, my youngest is my daughter, and she's actually going on a Disneyland trip for her 8th grade trip. So she's getting to go. My younger, like I said, my older son's kind of moved out, and he's always working and stuff. And my younger son, he's not huge on amusement parks, so I don't feel so guilty about going without them. But I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do a Disneyland trip by myself. And again, I tell people about this, and I've got people that are like, well, no, let me go with you and all this. And I'm like, no, I need to do this myself, and you're gonna kind of wreck my vibe, because I know exactly what I want to do. I want to go on all these the single rider lines and just do my own schedule and not worry about what other people want to do. And so that's something I'm gonna do. And hopefully, you know, I think that's gonna be good for me. Also, I've never actually like driven down to California by myself. I've driven there, but not by myself, and that's something else I need to kind of get out and kind of like, because I don't know actually how to go there, because every time I've gone there, somebody's kind of like, oh, you need to turn here or here, but I'm just going to put the navigation on and head out there, and hopefully I won't get lost or anything, but you know, that's something that I've got to do for myself. So let me talk about some of the positive things that are going on. I've been getting a lot of freelance work, which on one hand, it kind of takes me away from my personal stuff, which is what I'm concentrating on, trying to concentrate on. So things like, you know, the digital products I'm creating, updates to my website, my newsletter, getting this Kickstarter in order, the 100 days of making comics, all this stuff that I love to do that I've been working on, kind of got put in a hold or taken back. You know, obviously the 100 days, I'm only doing those 30 minutes, whereas before I was spending whole days working on the project, so that's going a little slower. But I got some really cool projects coming up, that some freelance projects that I'm really stoked about, like sort of, I don't want to say, do I say high profile? I mean, it's not like Nike or something like that, but very like some sort of cool projects. Ironically, like in the same day, I got these 2 tour poster designs, one from somebody who's very big in the YouTube space, I mean really big, and another person who, or another not person, but people, or company that's very big in the podcast space. So I don't want to get too much into that, but hopefully as things progress, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about those, because they're really cool projects. So I'm working on those, and also I started doing some work for my cousin, who he used to tour with bands and stuff like that, doing like the catering and all that stuff, and he's kind of gone on his own, and now he's doing he's got like a food truck, and he's doing catering and that type of thing like that with his food truck, but he needs some food truck graphics. And you know, I wasn't really, he's my cousin, I wasn't really going to circle him anything for it. I just, you know, it's kind of like a thing of pride, like, you know, we've got the same last name, and I don't want it, the circling name attached to some not so great design. So my brother was doing something, he was onto something really cool, but he was like, maybe you should take this over. So I took it over, helped him out and everything, and so did a lot of work for that, not thinking anything really of it, but because he used to do all these tours, he says, you know what, KISS is coming to Arizona. I think I might be able to get some tickets. I know a guy who might be able to get tickets, but let me wait and find out. And he really came through. I mean, he got me some like awesome tickets. So that was the concert I took my son to. So we went, and if you don't know me, I am a huge KISS fan from way back, you know, as a little kid. I mean, back then they were like superheroes to me, even before I knew anything about the music. And you can say what you want about the music, but for me, KISS is the whole experience. And if you know me, you know I'm super big on branding and, you know, creating a brand, and no rock band, no band has a better brand than KISS. I mean, it's just amazing. So I just kind of love what they do, and it's their farewell tour, and I didn't think I was going to go because the tickets are like super expensive. So I got, you know, that was well worth the designs I did for that. So, you know, that was super awesome. But, you know, what I'm really trying to do is just focus on those good experiences. When you're going through a bunch of stuff, there's going to be some good things, and try to concentrate on those. So, and seek them out if you can. I mean, you know, just try to make them happen. And I know sometimes budgets are concerned. I mean, I was lucky enough to get these tickets and stuff, and this Disneyland thing, I know that's super expensive for a lot of people. It's expensive for me, but that's something I had to do. So I just figured out a way to make it happen. But, you know, definitely within your means. You don't want to go into crazy debt or anything like that, but you know, do things that you can do to kind of, you know, put a positive spin, and seek out those things, the friends, the family, all that stuff. And, you know, health is a big thing, and you know, the best course of action that you can take isn't always the easiest. I mean, like I said before, it would have been so much easier for me to just like, I'm just gonna get a drink, I'm just gonna eat whatever, and, you know, just sit on the couch and wallow in my own self-pity. But I decided, no, I'm going to do something positive, and I'm just happy that I did. you know, these are healthy things, and you know, so even though I'm sort of in this point in my life where it's not the happiest point in my life, I'm really trying not to let that drag me down. And so hopefully you guys can do the same if you're in a situation like that, if you find yourself in a situation like that. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on in my world, and some of the things I'm trying to do to make a bad situation a little better. But I want to know if you guys, what do you guys do when things kind of aren't going your way? Do you kind of just spin out of control, kind of go down that rabbit hole, or do you try to course correct and try to, you know, put some more positive things in your life, and hopefully the latter is the case. But I want to know kind of what you guys do in situations like this. Let me know in the comment section. I will see you guys later. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.